Hello everyone, my name is Moji. You're watching a Bitcoin bubble news channel. Yes, I still believe that the bull market will continue. It's not possible for the circle to end, right? The election is in a few months. It's been about 2 months since the halves. There are many good things in the room. 1 million Bitcoins by 2030? I guess that's still pretty low, and I think prices will be at least 140,000 this cycle. Rational Root starts by talking about his thoughts on how the Bitcoin bull market will continue. He is still positive, but he stresses how important it is to take things one day at a time and not worry too much about the future. He admits that he has made risky predictions in the past, like saying that Bitcoin would hit $200,000, but now he likes to play it safer. He talks about different models, like the power law model, which says Bitcoin will be worth $1 million by 2030. He thinks this is a pretty reasonable prediction. Rational Root respects these models, but he thinks that Bitcoin will finally get to that level of success without relying on any one model. Matthew Sigel also talks about the effects of short-term users realizing losses in Bitcoin's low volatility, which recently hit 21 over the last 30 days. He thinks this can't go on forever and thinks that the upcoming quadruple witching might bring about change. He got rid of some stocks and bought Bitcoin because he thought the risk-reward ratio was good. Even though Bitcoin was cut in half recently and elections are coming up, he is still sure that the cycle is not over. Matthew Sigel thinks there will be a big rise. He says it doesn't take a lot of money to make a big difference in the price, because Bitcoin isn't very liquid compared to other assets. Take a moment to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and set your alerts to receive more videos like this. You can also watch our other videos about cryptocurrencies and digital assets in general. Please share your thoughts and comments in the part below. For the channel's growth, everything you do is very helpful for the YouTube system. Thanks, and have fun with the movie. Yeah, I've said things like, okay, we could get to 200,000 Bitcoin, but I'd rather be safe and take it day by day. That's another big reason why I like on-chain so much. That's right, these models are becoming more common. You might have seen the power law model, which says that Bitcoin will be worth $1 million by 2030. I guess that's still pretty modest. There's also the stock-to-flow approach, which is a really good one. I don't have anything against the power law idea, but I'm not a big fan of it. Also, I think it's a great model. Based on this old data, it really does well. And it's a pretty low guess about where Bitcoin is going. However, I don't really need those models. I think that Bitcoin will also reach $1 million in the long run, even without the plan. That's why I like to use on-chain analysis to check in on it every day and see where we are in the loop. Are we almost at peak? Do you say yes or no? How long can this cycle last? I still believe that there will be a continue. I think prices will be at least 140,000 this time. We'll see though, there is still room for us to rise. But something could also mess it up, right? There is a chance of a decline. The big picture doesn't look that great, That being said, we still need to be careful. I think there's a pretty strong link between that and the stock market, so that could even mess up the 4-year pattern. And so I think Bitcoin will crash along with the stock market if it happens quickly because of a slowdown. I'm still hopeful though, because Bitcoin is a hedge, right? I believe we will hit the bottom soon. Yes, it is tough to imagine these situations. We have no idea what's going to happen. A decline has been expected for a long time, but it hasn't happened yet. Also, the stock market is at an all-time high right now. So at this point, I have no reason to be negative. There's also the spiral chart, which shows that we'll hit the top of that chart again in 6 months. So yes, we should get prices above 70,000. Because if you don't, the lines will cross, which could also happen, right? For example, if the benefits of something decrease over time, the lines on the spiral chart might cross. In fact, I've already set this back years. That is a possible answer. Yes, to give you an idea of how the price is moving, we have an ETF that owns Bitcoin miners. This month, it's up 21%, right? ETH is down 11%, Solana is down 17%, and BTC is down 9%. There is a clear imbalance between supply and demand when it comes to the power and high-density data center infrastructure that these AI tasks need. People who mine Bitcoin sit at that crossroads and get calls from Microsoft, Amazon, and everyone else. Of course, we've seen CoreWeave make that big deal with Core Scientific and try to buy the company. Later, short-term investors, for example, lost over $500 million. That's one of the 5 best Bitcoin prints ever. And then I saw that BTC had hit 21. That's an average volume of 30 days. Also, that number is very low. It was less than Apple stock and less than Meta stock. I mean, I don't think that can last. And the quadruple witching could be the cause. So, on Tuesday, I did sell some stocks and buy blockchain. The risk-reward seems good to me. It's a 17% drop. In the long run, that will look really good as long as the cycle is still going. Also, the circle can't be over, right? It's been about 2 months since the halves, and the election is still a ways off. There are many good things in the room, so I added it to some risk a few days ago. It sounds like a nice positive goal. It looks like it will be back and loaded. I think the advisors are still working on their Bitcoin plans. And, maybe they need a little more like the red wave election energy or even the event to get really angry. That's why I believe 15 billion is a great number. Because ETH isn't as liquid as BTC, I don't think it would take much to make a big difference in the price of the currency. As you may know, there is even less inflation. That's why I believe that even $5 billion could lead to a 504.040450% rise. Rational talk about what he thinks about the Getting educated is important in the crypto space. He thinks it's very important to persuade standard financial players that Bitcoin is valuable when added to a portfolio with FANG stocks. He talks about how open source apps and decentralized finance could help the crypto space grow and become more innovative. As you can see, this chart shows the total amount of Bitcoin held. So, from the start, 600,000 Bitcoin were held by these ETFs, and now there are about 850,000 Bitcoin on the balance sheets of these ETFs. For example, the Canadian ETF, the Brazilian ETF, and some of the European ETFs are global ETFs, Adding them all up, you get to about 1 million coins that are now held by these ETFs. That's a pretty big deal. Of course, it's a bit of a honeypot since Coinbase holds a lot of those coins. So there is still a bit of a risk there. What I hope for and what I pushed for in the proc panel is that these ETFs will eventually come with custody options. To be fair, we've had that happen with ETFs before. So it is possible. It's possible with Bitcoin for sure. We might have liked these 3 types of security for these ETFs. It might even give it an edge over other ETFs. Since there are crypto-focused ETFs like Bitwise, it wouldn't be surprising if they came with these kinds of tools and solutions to help them beat the other ETFs. Yes, we've always tried to have the lowest fees. Jan Van Eck has also said in public that he felt bad that he wasn't more active when Bitcoin spot ETFs first came out. In this case, we're going to put our foot on the gas and give the goods away for free. We're going to make up for it with volume or decentralized finance volume, which means we're going to put a lot of our own money into this product. And if the ETF sparks more interest in the asset, more action on DEX, and more ways to use this open source software, that means more gas fees. The value of the ETF asset will go up and we'll make money. Since this asset class is still so new, the biggest challenge is just getting people to understand why it should be in their portfolios along with the FANG stocks. And I believe we did some work on ETH as an open source app shop, and I think that theme will keep coming up over the next, few quarters and years. Apple is getting fined a lot of money by the European Union Commission for not opening up their app store this week.